The producers and distributors of Tech.AV technical instructional video programs welcome you to this program in the series Electrical Cables. In this program, we shall demonstrate the procedures involved in preparing and terminating a cross-linked polyethylene medium voltage cable using a termination kit of commercial manufacture. Cable preparation requirements and measurements are usually supplied with the termination kit. We recommend that you first familiarize yourself with these details. During the program, you will be given time to discuss the principles and jointing procedures with your course controller. Before proceeding with any cable terminations, it is recommended that, where applicable, you wear appropriate safety clothing. Ensure that the cable has been isolated in accordance with the regulations and that you have the necessary authority, such as a permit, to carry out work on the cable. The termination procedure begins with cable preparation. Secure the cable in a vertical position and commence preparation by examining the end of the cable for damage to the insulation or ingress of moisture into the cores. Place one of the long grey anti-tracking tubes against the cable to determine the length of the tail. Mark the cable outer insulation at this point. Make a ring cut at the mark. Take care not to cut more than halfway through the wire armors. Using a sharp knife, make a longitudinal cut from the armor ring cut up to the end of the cable. Now, peel off the outer insulation. Remove the armors, bending them back and forth until they break off at the ring cut. Repeat the procedure until all the armoring has been removed. Measure 20 millimeters from the armor cut and make a chalk mark on the inner bedding. Ring cut the inner bedding at the chalk mark. Take care not to cut deeper than the thickness of the inner bedding. Continue by making a longitudinal cut up the sheath and then carefully peel off the sheath. Unwind the bedding tape down to the ring cut on the inner bedding. Carefully cut off the tape against the ring cut. Next, remove the core fillers, cutting them off at the ring cut. Do not cut the copper core screens when removing the fillers. We continue by stripping the copper screens. Measure 200 millimeters from the end of the core and mark the screen at this point. Wrap 2 to 3 layers of tinned copper wire around the core to form a binder. This will retain the copper screen and prevent it from unraveling. Unwind the copper screen from the core. Carefully tear off the screen at the binder to create a neat finish. Next, unwind the layer of bedding between the screen and the semiconductive layer, cutting it off carefully against the edge of the binder. Measure and mark a point 25 millimeters from the edge of the screen. Make a ring cut at this position, taking care not to cut right the way through the semiconductive layer. Score several parallel lines along the length of the semiconductive layer. Now remove the semiconductive layer by tearing it off in strips to the ring cut. Place the appropriate sized lug against the core to determine the amount of X.L.P.E insulation to be removed. Mark this point with the thumbnail so as not to damage or contaminate the insulation. Cut a small V-shaped notch into the core insulation at this point. Using the piece of string provided in the kit, remove the X.L.P.E insulation from the core as demonstrated. You may require an assistant to help you steady the core on which you are working. Where possible, use the string method in preference to a knife to create a ring cut. This will ensure that the core conductors are not damaged by the use of sharp tools. Carefully make 2 parallel cuts into the insulation, taking care not to cut deeper than the thickness of the insulation. Now remove the remaining insulation as demonstrated. Clean the surface of the core insulation with a strip of emery tape supplied in the kit. Sand the area radially. This will remove any nicks, cuts or deposits on the surface of the insulation. Take care not to damage the edge of the semiconductive layer. The core insulation should now be thoroughly cleaned using the cleaning fluid and lint-free cloth supplied in the kit. Clean the remaining cores using the same method. After the discussion break, we will continue with preparations for screening and earthing.